All right, gang, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Forestry 500, which is really Ag Sciences 500. Now that we're merged with Ag Life and Physical Sciences, probably someday it's going to be called Ag Life and Physical Sciences 500. Principles of Research. I'm Dr. Logan Park. I'll be your professor for the semester on this class, and we'll go through a bunch of the normal dog and pony show with going through the administrivia on the syllabus, talking about schedules and sort of covering what the class is about. And then we'll spend the balance of the class session, as much as we have, really mostly getting to know you guys and gals and everybody in between on what your status is, how many semesters in you are, whether you're doing a thesis or a dissertation or a professional project or an externship. There are multiple different ways to achieve graduate degrees, and some programs require one thing or another. Forestry, for example, requires a master's thesis or a dissertation, not an externship or a project. So we'll talk through and sort some of those things out as far as they actually apply to the class, and then we'll use that conversation to kind of customize this very, very long list of things that we could talk about, but we probably don't have time to talk about all of them in full detail. And this will help us, most importantly, say no to things that are good, but that are not useful for you specific individuals in this class this semester. So what I'm trying to sort of telegraph here is that this class is, for some of you, maybe a few of you, one of your first graduate classes, your first graduate semester. This class is designed to help you get your feet on the ground and point it forward in terms of progress on your research and so forth, and try and help humanize the process, make it as sane and navigable and as low stress as possible. Not that it will be stress-free, but lower stress maybe than absolute swirling chaos. So, my contact information starts off the syllabus. You're probably best reaching out to me via text message instead of email. I get a lot of spam emails, a lot of legitimate emails as well, but it is too much to keep up with continuously. So if I see you in the hallway and your first instinct is to ask, "Hey, Dr. Park, did you see my email?" The answer is probably no. Not that I don't like it, but I just haven't got to it yet. So send me a text message instead. Let me know your name and you're asking a question about Forestry 500 or what have you, and I'll be happy to help you on your way. That's the whole point of any professor here as it respects graduate students. Our job is to help you get across the finish line 2 years from now, 3 years from now, PhD, whatever. Okay? Now, some professors have the heart of a mentor and are really looking out for you, and your success is their success. A few professors I've heard may sort of, look at you as like a cog in the machine, and you are here to be productive for them and so forth. We'll talk about some of the dynamics of being a graduate student, and more broadly, being a professional scientist, professional researcher, or a profession in a professional area, natural resources planning, for example, environmental resource and policy, professional areas that are not doing science necessarily, but that benefit hugely from the background, the training, the skills that you are acquiring now in straightforward science and knowledge creation. Okay, so it's not all cleanly laid out in a landscape. We'll do our best to navigate that landscape together this semester according to your needs and questions. So this class and its course description from the syllabus exposes you to fundamental principles and practices of graduate level research. We're going to teach you how to adult. For those of you who are new to all this stuff, here we go. By the time we've completed this course, you'll be prepared to begin or continue your program of graduate research productively. The subtext of that sentence is, this class is all about scaffolding your research proposal. Your dissertation or thesis' first 3 chapters: introduction, background or literature review, and the methods. So we're not really going to spend a lot of time and effort on specific methods. Here's how to do this statistical test, for example, or set up this particular flow model or structural equation model or factor analysis or qualitative semi-structured interview study. We're not going to get into the weeds on specific methods. We have a lot of different classes for that, and not everybody needs all of those methods. What everybody does need is how to write a thesis or dissertation. So, if anybody, and it's okay to be honest, show of hands, if you've never written a 150-page book before at a high professional and technical level of excellence, raise your hand. Welcome! We're not assuming you have, right? So that's okay. And this class is all about providing you some tools to make this a more sane and sensible process. What I have here on my screen, and I'm recording the screen, I'll try to record each class session for any students who aren't able to make it due to field work or presenting your work at a conference or, just getting sick or whatever. So we'll have those on our course website as we go. But on the screen here I have a 42-page, which is longer maybe than some of the actual thesis drafts that will come out of it, thesis proposals. It's a huge template. It's very much designed to be modular and fill in the blank and as absolutely straightforward as possible, so you can just sort of drop in each of your citations, the studies, the previous research that you were working on, and organize all of that very quickly and sanely into a very common narrative structure. So what you're doing is technical storytelling when you're writing a thesis or dissertation proposal, as most of us are. So I'll make this available, and we'll spend a couple of class sessions just going through that file so that you can see, okay, this is why we have this section in the methods, not in the background, and this is why this subsection in methods comes after this other subsection in methods. It's all a part of that narrative and pulling together a whole bunch of really pretty specific and technical strands to help everybody else understand what your big idea is. Okay? So, towards the end of the semester, we'll spend some time and effort on the tail end of the process. That is, the science communication techniques of things like presenting your thesis proposal or dissertation proposal to your 3 to 5 person graduate committee. Very useful skill. And a lot of those skills are going to transfer directly into going to professional conferences or research conferences and presenting your very hard work to colleagues in the field who want to hire you. Because in most technical, advanced degree science fields, there is a huge lack of human capital. We don't have enough scientists in a lot of fields. We don't have enough highly trained professionals in a lot of technical fields like forestry and resource management, which is my technical area, and so forth. So, all that to say, if you're feeling overwhelmed or confused or intimidated, that's all right. Everybody else did at this point as well. And some of us even made it through with all of our fingers and toes still attached. You can too. Okay? So, the course objectives on the syllabus line out in not really any particular order, but in some more specificity, the ideas encapsulated in the broad narrative of the course description. So, upon completion of this course, you will have an understanding of the philosophy and ethics upon which your research is constructed. A couple of people have done absolutely immeasurable harm to all of humanity by abusing the tools of science and research. We'll talk about some of those notable negative examples and talk about what it means to be an ethical and reasoned professional these days. Second, we'll have a defensible research proposal done by the end of the semester. We're all going to write it together, provided to your advisor and graduate committee. So, as a show of hands, how many of you guys and gals, non-binary pals, have put together your graduate committee? Your advisor, one other person from your program, and at least one person from outside of your program. Kind of? Okay. Around half. Okay. So, we'll spend about half a class session talking about who do you want to put on your committee? What kind of a person do you want to have on that committee? Who do you definitely not want on your committee? Not all advisors and committee members are equal. Third, we'll have a detailed checklist for your project start to finish. I've organized it out by semesters, and it covers everything we could possibly want like registering for classes to sending out resumes, as you are sort of winding down, networking professionally, and all the process of organizing your thoughts on your research project, collecting the data for it, analyzing those